Hello friends, this is Dr. Sharad Bedi. I am a consultant physician and diabetologist based at Gurgaon. So today's topic of discussion would be very important for those persons who come in the category of diabetes, pre-diabetes, metabolic syndrome and obesity. Because on one side they wish to lose weight and on the other side they have to restrict the calories, for which they might have to look for alternative sources of sweeteners. So there are two terms like sugarless and sugar-free. Sugarless practically means that this particular preparation doesn't contain any sugar. Sugar-free means that it doesn't contain any sugar, but it may be having alternative sweeteners. Now, this broad term alternative sweeteners, it is primarily categorized into two. One is the nutritive ones and the other could be non-nutritive ones. Let's discuss about nutritive ones. So what are these nutritive alternative sweeteners? So you must have already used them in your home like jaggery, honey, date syrup, and maybe unrefined sugar, which we also call it as brown sugar. So these are practically used in almost every home. These have their own nutritive value and calorie content. They are definitely better as compared to the refined sugar, which we commonly use at home. But that doesn't mean that they are just calorie free. They have their own calorie content. For that matter, just discussing about the example of honey. Every 100 grams of honey roughly has around 300 calories, and every 100 gram of refined sugar has around 370, 380 calories. So practically, it means that jaggery honey may be better than refined sugar, but that doesn't mean this is calorie free. So you cannot have them guilt free. So if one has to restrict the calories, then they also need to be restricted. They are just other forms of carbohydrates and get eventually metabolized into glucose in the body, and maybe in the long run they will definitely increase the glucose levels, especially in diabetic patients. So you have to be very thoughtful and mindful while consumption of these may be better options as compared to refined sugar in terms of the overall calorie and other benefits. So talking about other benefits, that if I talk about jaggery or maybe honey, they may be having many micronutrients or maybe other antioxidant benefits, and jaggery for that matter may be having maybe helpful in digestion. But this is altogether a different story. That doesn't mean that these are calorie free. So you have to decide your goal whether you want antioxidant like benefits or you want calorie restriction. This you have to be very careful about it, right? So I have actually made a separate clip on honey and jaggery also. Maybe you can have a look at that also for your understanding. Talking about non-nutritive benefits, non-nutritive sweeteners. So these could be natural ones or maybe the synthetic ones. Natural ones are like sorbitol, xylitol, stevia. Synthetic ones are saccharin, aspartame, and sucralose. There is also other plethora of sweeteners available in the market already, but for the simplicity of the discussion, I have kept only the ones which are commonly used in our day-to-day practice. So these come as tablets, liquids, as well as in powdered form. The choice is up to you, whatever you wish to use. So uh, will these increase sugar? Practically nil. Now the reason is they are around 100 to 200 times sweeter than refined glucose. So practically whatever amount you use in your preparations, that is very minuscule. So that is why it is practically calorie free. So but they will have same sweetening effect. That is why it tastes like sugar but practically calorie free, right? Many a times consumer may not be even aware of its use in the packaged items. Let's discuss them one by one. So one is sorbitol or xylitol. This is commonly used in jellies, creams, jams, and some or the other form of medicinal syrups. uh, Largely regarded as safe class or sweeteners. Yes, they are used in many preparations. Next, talking about aspartame. Aspartame is most commonly used in beverages. It is not very stable at in the hot environment. That is why it is mostly used in the beverages. The only precaution which we have to take for aspartame is that this is not to be used by persons who are suffering from a rare genetic condition called as phenylketonuria. Other one is saccharin. Saccharin is practically heat stable. So there was a lot of discussion around 1970s regarding its tumor potential, which was found in few of the animal studies. But subsequently, no human study has shown that they are tumorigenic in nature. But if you don't want to use it, there are many other options available. You can use any of them. You can easily avoid saccharin if you are not comfortable with that. Let's talk about sucralose. Sucralose is heat stable, not absorbed in the body, and is excreted as such. It is one of the popular choices nowadays because the simple reason is that it is not absorbed in the body, and in most of the safety studies, it has got a green signal. Let's talk about stevia. Stevia is actually gaining popularity nowadays, and it is now being one of the widely used sweeteners. Now, why it is so? Because one is it is purely natural. It is prepared from the stevia leaves. Even if you taste stevia leaves, they are very sweet to taste as compared to the refined sugar. So it is used as a standalone as well as in many of the food preparations. So in a nutshell, I have discussed about nutritive as well as non-nutritive sweeteners, but there are few concerns regarding this, which have been especially raised by the subset of patients I see or what we generally encounter in our day-to-day practice. Let's discuss them one by one. So first and foremost is that I personally don't recommend them in pregnancy, lactation, and especially in children. So second is that if you use it in huge quantities, like 40 or 50 tablets a day, they can alter your good bacteria in the intestine. So it is not, it may affect your good bacteria in if you consume it in higher quantities. So if you talk about my personal opinion, um, a couple of tablets here there in tea coffee are absolutely fine. See, moderation is the key. Excess of everything is bad. If you take it in like 40 or 50 tablets a day, I don't suggest that. So better to restrict the quantities. So another point which is raised by many of the persons is that bulking agents are used in this. See, practically these are very sweet in nature. They are roughly 100 to 200 times sweeter in nature as compared to refined sugar. So one or the other thing has to be added in that to make them as tablets. Otherwise, if you take that tablet as a whole of that particular sweetener, it will be actually unpalatable. And these bulking agents, they are naturally derived, like lactose is used, so which is a purely natural sugar made from the milk. Uh, Another concern which I have actually already discussed regarding its tumor potential. See, none of the human studies have proven it, but you have to decide yourself. Metabolic syndrome, diabetes, and obesity, these are itself biggest killers of the world. You have to take a conscious call whether you want to restrict the calories or you want some other method. So you have to see yourself the risk benefit ratio in your case, whether the benefit outweighs the risk or not. Now another point which is practically very important is the taste of these pellets. See, all are different molecules though come in the similar category, but one size doesn't fit all. So every patient may not feel the same taste from these. So you see what goes well with your taste buds. You can just give it a hit and try kind of thing, and whatever suits your taste buds, you can continue that. So just to summarize, best idea is not to have refined sugar because you are already having carbs in your diet. So if somebody still wishes to satisfy the sweet taste and wishes to avoid sugar, then these alternative sweeteners are always a option. If you want to restrict your calories, jaggery, honey, and date syrup may be good options. But if you want to practically avoid all these calories from the refined sugar, then maybe these modern sweeteners may be a good idea for you. Maximally avoid the calories from refined sugars. So they are generally regarded as safe by most of the guidelines. So the take home message is that take them as low as possible. One, sucralose and stevia are heat stable and are okay to use, though aspartame and saccharin are also equally good. You have to see what tastes you the best, whatever you find it to be most palatable, right? So if you like the video and wish to hear more about the research driven content, then you can subscribe my channel and hit on the like button. Thank you.